New Year's Eve is one of the most exciting days, especially for a Christian. On this day, we Christians would go to church for a service we call crossover service. During this service, we would dance, give thanks to God for protecting our lives throughout the year, and then finally, we would end the service by blowing fireworks as soon as we cross over into the new year. In fact, this was a video I recorded during last year's crossover service. I had fun. Now, the same way I and Christians all over the world attend crossover service is the same way this man called Baba also attended. However, after the crossover service ended, Baba did not return home. His family members became worried. They called him, but he wasn't responding to his calls. They contacted some of his friends and members of the church to ask if they knew about Baba's whereabouts. However, they all said the same thing. They have no idea where Baba was. Now, during the search for Baba, Baba's family soon received a call from a strange unsaved number. This number has never called any of Baba's family members before. Now, as soon as they picked the call, the person behind the call told them that he and his gang had just kidnapped Baba and that if they wanted to see him alive, they would need to pay a ransom fee of allegedly 10 million naira. To prove that they meant business, the kidnappers then sent a video recording of Baba with them as proof, and further told them that they shouldn't play any funny games by notifying the police or else they would unalive Baba. So this was how Baba's family started raising money to pay the ransom fee for Baba. With the help of some of Baba's friends and his family in general, they were quickly able to raise the money, that is the 10 million naira, and then paid it to the kidnappers. However, you see, despite paying the ransom to the kidnappers, they still refused to release Baba, and even worse, they stopped responding to calls or text messages from Baba's family. At this point, Baba's family were left with no other choice than to contact the police and let them in on what was going on. Now, after revealing all that has happened so far to the police began working on the case, and within a short period of time, the police were able to link the disappearance of Baba along with other victims to these two men called Igwe and Chukwuma. And after interrogating them, they confessed to being partly responsible for Baba's kidnapping. Now, you see, Igwe happened to be a farmer. He would go to other people's farm, help them with some farm work, and then get paid for his services. While Chukwuma, on the other hand, was into fish farming and owned a little pond. But then one day, one of their friends called Izu, who lives in the same area, told them he had a job for them that would fetch them 10 times of what they were making right then as farmers. By the way, this whole story happened in Ogun State. According to Igwe and Chukwuma, at first they had no idea that the job Izu was proposing to them was a kidnapping job and that he was the alleged leader of a kidnapping gang, until they went for their first and only operation, which is Baba's kidnapping. After revealing all this, the police then asked them for Baba's location so that they can rescue and send him back to his family, who have all been worried sick for him. Unfortunately, it was at this point that Igwe and Chukwuma then revealed to the police that Baba is no more alive. Apparently, after them and the gang received the ransom, they unalived Baba and then buried him inside the forest where they normally bury their victims. This particular video is when they took the police to the forest where they usually bury their victims, Baba included, and then they started, digging out some of the corpses. The sad part of the story is that Izu, the alleged leader of the gang, as well as other members of the gang, were still on the run when the story came out. And up until now, there is no report of them being apprehended by the police, meaning they might still be working amongst us right now. The only ones that were arrested were Igwe and Chukwuma, aka the newcomers, and by the way, they both received a payment of 150,000 naira and 300,000 naira respectively as their own shares from the ransom Baba's family paid.